Hey, welcome to Flip It Like a Boss. This is week number 2. We're going to talk about some things that have to do with the Turbo Instant Membership Builder script this week. We're not going to be dealing with WordPress this week, mainly because that's a pretty big subject, and I want to keep a whole week available for that. So this week, it's just going to be creating membership sites quickly using the Turbo Instant Membership plugin. Or script actually. Okay, so when you're when you're dealing with no revenue, no traffic flips, when you list them on Flippa, you have to have a compelling sales page. One way that I actually go out and I check on these all the time, I'm actually running searches to see what sites are selling. So I'll go over here to websites, and if I'm doing starter sites, I'll look on starter sites just sold and I'll do a search. Now, the searches that come up, I'm looking for higher price sites. Let's just do most recent here. So I'd like to, somewhere in the 200 range. The 900 is great. We can tell already that this is an AdSense site. It's getting unique. So if we're doing starter sites with no traffic, no revenue, we're not going to take a look at this because it's really not. It's apples and oranges kind of thing. This site is making money. Our sites are not making money. We want to basically make a site that has a really good sales page, a compelling sales page, to get people to pay a little bit more for it. If you'll notice down on the research, a lot of these just have one bid. They're not getting a whole lot of traction. Just one bid. This one is, again, an AdSense site, 3,019 bids. But as a general rule, this will be one bid, two bids, three bids, something like that. Let's look at this one. This is a 150. Dog store online. Typical blog, nothing big. 2,000 products. It's an Amazon site, so it probably has an Amazon plugin. And so they basically just outline here: website overview, unlimited potential income. They're all unlimited potential income as long as they're not making any money. It used to be that Flippa wouldn't allow you to say that because of their TOS. I guess they've changed that because this guy's using it here. So this is just straightforward. Seller notes, dog store, website overview, unlimited potential income, what you will get, and then all the things you will get. I don't even see these offering any bonuses or anything, and yet he sold it for $150, and he's done 71 transactions, made 7,000. So he's probably moving these, starter sites at right around $150 a piece. Okay, the next thing, it's not about ESP, it's about USP, unique selling proposition. Way back when I was in high tech, one of the companies I worked for as a security person, network engineer, was Cabletron. And Cabletron was one of the largest network service providers. So they would provide infrastructure, which meant we provided switches, hubs, cabling, FDDI, ATM types of products. Well, our big competitor at the time was Cisco. And what happened was Cabletron's products were much more reliable. They were better built. They were built in the US. Cisco was making a lot of stuff overseas. They had single points of failures. But yet, after all these years, what happened? All the big companies, there's 5 of us, 3Com, I think Translucent, Cabletron, Cisco, and I can't remember the other ones, but there was a couple more in there. Anyway, everyone is gone. Cabletron's gone. This is a $25 billion company. Gone. History. Cisco won. They're the only ones around today. So it wasn't about the quality of their products. It wasn't about anything other than the unique selling prop. And what they would do is they would sell top down versus everyone else that was selling bottom up. Bottom up selling is you go in, you talk to the network guys, you talk to the network engineers, the IT people, you sell them on the equipment, and then they have to push it upstream to the C-level people, the CTO, the CEO, and they get to sign off on it. Well, Cisco is very smart. They went in and they talked to the CTO. The CEO took them out for dinner, took them out to Vegas, took them out to play golf, and they won the contracts almost without a doubt. In fact, the saying was in Silicon Valley in the 90s was you couldn't get fired for buying Cisco. And so here we are today. The best product doesn't always win. If you remember back in the early days of when products were going from Windows 16-bit to 32-bit, there was an OS2 that came out. IBM built this OS2. They built this really fantastic multi-threaded 32-bit operating system, and yet they wouldn't put it on their own computers. I was buying lots of IBM Aptivas mainly when I worked at Selectron, and we would buy 500,000, 2,000 PCs at a time, and they all came with Windows. They came with DOS 6 and Windows 3, 3.1, and I think we got some with 3.1.1 Windows for Workgroups. But no one, IBM wasn't even pushing their own product, and it was a much better product. It was stable, it ran great. The problem was that nobody wrote drivers for it. The big thing was Windows. And so, again, today, what happened? Windows wins. Same thing with Sun OS. Back in the early days, Sun actually stands for Stanford University Network. Scott McNealy went to Stanford. He actually took the code. It was open source code. He took it off the machines at Stanford. They built their own hardware at Sun, and they put the Stanford University Network software on their own boxes and sold them as high-end Unix boxes. And that's how Sun got started. Really, the internet wouldn't be here today if it hadn't been for Sun OS. Well, today, Sun OS is not even in the picture anymore. Everything on the backbone runs on Linux, which was free. It was a free operating system. Linus Torvalds made this, gave it out. A bunch of people built all kinds of derivatives from it. And today, there's still all kinds of derivatives, all kinds of flavors, if you will, of Linux. But the big providers are running Linux. Strategic partners make a huge difference, like JVs and affiliates. So when you're flipping sites, or when you're getting ready to flip sites, it's always great to keep in mind that up the road, you may need the help from a JV or an affiliate. So build those relationships early. And remember, if you do nothing else, if you never remember nothing about what I'm teaching in this course, remember this: you must create your own list. Now, one of the strategies that I use, this is actually, I've used this strategy a number of times, is I create networks of websites. Now, networks make a compelling story. Here's a 20 times revenue jewelry network on sale. It sold on Flippa a long time ago, but it sold for $17,500. You can see it was doing about $900 per month from organic traffic. You can see all the analytics, financials. And what he's doing, he's selling his network of 4 engagement ring niche sites. So he has 4 sites, all of them combined revenue is around $900 per month, and it's sold for $17,500. So that's a pretty good return on investment. I sold one a few years ago, 110 Football. Sold it for $4,300. I actually bought this site off of Flippa for $1,500 and cleaned it up a little bit, and then turned around and put it back on Flippa. It was making about $1,300 per month. It was an AdSense, so it earned through Amazon affiliate products, it earned through eBay affiliates, and it also earned through AdSense. So right here, it was a network of 5 AdSense sites that were making about $46 per day. And so I listed all the sites here, and you could click on them. They're all down now. I'm sure that the person that finally ended up picking these up, this guy that bought these turned around and sold it. And I think he even sold it for $8,000 or something, $8,500. But the person didn't keep these sites going, so that's just the way it goes. AdSense, Amazon, and eBay. 5 sites, network of sites. And then this guy is really interesting because he sold, he got 8 bids, sold $500, but he sold 10 Autoblogs. Now, Autoblogs, and see, they're only 3 months old. Autoblogs, as a general rule, just don't do well because once Google identifies an Autoblog, it turns it off. So Autoblogs kind of went out of style, I guess, 2011, maybe 2012 at the latest. And yet, of course, this did end a long time ago. I'm going to show you another seller here that's back on the Autoblogs networking binge, and he's selling sites. In fact, he sold over 400,000 sites on Flippa, so he's far eclipsed me as far as total site sales. But that's all this guy does, and I'll talk more about that when we get there. How do you separate your websites from the forest of all the other websites here in the marketplace? Well, we can do a few things. The number one way is with traffic and revenue. That's how you do it. Now, we're going to talk about starter sites in this, as far as this particular week number 2 webinar. But if you want to really separate yourself and you want to make real good money on Flippa, then get traffic, get revenue to your sites, and they will sell every single time. Forget about the cheap PLR bonuses. We talked about this earlier. Everyone does the cheap PLR bonuses. They just don't work because people are just burned out. You got the same old junky ebooks, same old video tutorials on WordPress, and they're just tired of it. One way you can differentiate yourself is to create membership websites, and you use only high quality PLR or your own content. Now, if it's your own content, you know that that's going to be high quality. And you can create unique custom designed websites using the Easy Deal Builder product or the Turbo Instant membership site builder script. Okay, now earlier we talked about building a network of websites. I'm going to show you some examples here, but first, when I talk about a network, I'm talking about maybe 4, 5, 6, 9, 10 websites, something like that. This guy that I'm going to show you later on makes 21 websites at a time. That is a whole heck of a lot of websites to keep track of. And if you do that a few times, pretty soon you have hundreds of websites. And if you're on a reseller account, you're going to be paying for the bandwidth. So just keep that in mind. Using the Turbo Instant Membership script, builder script, you're going to be able to create high quality PLR fast. So what I do in my listings is I use one. You can only list one website. So if you have a network of websites, you can't list all the websites with Flippa. You just have to list them up and link to them, as I showed you a minute ago. So the sites you want to use for your top level listing should be a .com, .biz, .org, or .us. Now, we talked about extensions don't really matter that much in starter sites, but if you're listing a network of sites, you want the top level site that you're listing to be a .com, .biz, .org, or .us. After that, the other sites that you list, doesn't really matter what the extensions are, you just list out your sites. Put links in your sales page so that people can click on the link and go out to the website. Flippa doesn't have any problem with that. And then what you're doing with building a network is you're adding value. That's your value add. That's your USP. Hardly anyone. I mean, I could probably find less than half a dozen people that are selling networks of sites. New buyers, especially newbie buyers, love networks of sites. They love to be able to get their hands on 10 sites or 5 sites or 6 sites or whatever, 9 sites, whatever it is. They love that because they think they're going to be able to go out there and make tons of money with these sites. Now, we all know, and we've been around the block a time or two, we all know that you have to put some action behind that. You have to send paid traffic and do some other things. Most of these people that buy these sites are not willing to invest the money they just hope that they buy them and then they magically start making money. Well, we know that's not going to happen. But the buyer sees this as they're buying a group of sites versus buying just one website. All right, let's get into some of these examples here. This is the guy that I was going to talk to you about earlier, Mark Daniels, Turnkey Profit. You see this, 400K, 421,000, 3,100 transactions, 100% positive feedback. This seller has a premium seller status. So it basically recognized the recent track record of multiple high quality sales in the marketplace. And he's also a super seller. This is his business. This is what he does full time. And if you look at all of his listings, we'll go down here and look at his listings. Almost all of them are selling in that range. They're all starter sites that I could find. He's been on Flippa for about 7 years. 190, 195, 195, all one bids. See, hot watches, best tattoo site, and look, they're all 21 sites. Guaranteed $100 per day free info. Now, okay, I'm sorry, but if you're, now he has great seller status and 100% feedback, but if you're guaranteeing that someone's going to make $100 per day, and they don't make it, I'm thinking that that's going to leave yourself open to get some bad feedback or have Flippa look at you. But he's done so much revenue through Flippa, he probably has a little bit of some leeway. But again, they all sell for right around 195, 197, 200, 195, 195. So, and they're all like 20 websites, video game sites. So he, 20 websites. So his USP obviously is network of sites, and he sells a whole bunch of network of starter sites. So let's just go out here and grab best of golf or best golf site. So you see right here, extension site XYZ, site XYZ, XYZ, site, and there's a .com, XYZ site. He bought all these extensions. They're like 88 cents at Namecheap. He's not investing anything in the domains. And I'll almost guarantee you that the other sites that he's building, he doesn't ever tell you what the extensions are. I guess, oh, he puts live demos up now. So here's the live demo. So here's a Site Deals Top. So he has a script that brings back videos. That's what this is. So it's building out a site using a script. Gang trailers, Site Deals Top games. So what he's doing is he's using one top level domain, sitedeals.top. Yeah, the movie trailers is sitedeals.top, and he's just making folders for the other sites. So they're not add-on domains. They're just it's just a domain that he hasn't really added to the domain. He just built out a website, and he's calling, this is one called movies and this is called games, and he's going to build this out for you. Now I almost guarantee you that this is a what we call a website mill. It's just all they do is they just crank out websites like crazy. Now he says that he's in the US, but if he's making this, then he's working really hard, because he sold golf site. He's got to sell all these sites. He's got to install them on somebody else's hosting, and then he has to do the same thing. So within just a few days, he sold well over 100 sites that he has to install. So I can't, and for this price point, I can't see that he's making a whole lot of money, even though it says 400 grand. It's a lot of income. I would think that he has a VA or a few VAs, and he's outsourcing somewhere to Asia, the Philippines, Malaysia, something like that. That's my guess. It's an educated guess. The other examples are pretty much the same thing, of someone, $99, one bid for this. This is a different person. They've done really well, 55,000, 466 transactions. But he's got a network of 2 sites, for $99. So not a whole lot, but he did sell it for $99, so it's essentially $50 per site. Okay, here's my trick number 2 to get on the most active list fast. And what you do is you list your site at $1 with no reserve, and then you get a whole bunch of people bidding on in the lower amounts, $1, $5, $10. And once you get to a certain level, you'll automatically get put on the most active. Now this works really well with income producing sites or established sites that have income. And you can see here 71 bids, 75 bids. So you can just roll down to the bottom of the page and you'll see the minimum bids you have to get to be on the first page of most active. You have to have 9 bids. So if you get 9 bids, you're going to be on the first page of most active, which means more eyes on your website. You're going to be at the bottom of the page, but you will be on that page. I've been on most active many times. As you can see, the top site has 1 day to go, and they have 134 bids. So they're at $29.50. So here's 84 bids, 12,600. So it doesn't matter how much the site is going for. It's all determined by how many bids you have to be on the most active page. So 70, 80 bids, that's what you need to aim for if you want to do that. Now again, this is reserved for sites. It works best with sites that have revenue, traffic, and members. A few years ago, I put one together called Hypertube Profits, and you can see the bidding history here. Site had almost 6,000 uniques a month, so make about $425 per month. And you can see what I did. You can take a look at all the people that are suspended. Oh, that's just one person. But I started at $1. So $1, and then it went to 6, 10, 15, and then jumped to 100, 105, 200, 200. And then you just keep going up until finally somebody pulled the trigger and bought it for $1,200. It went from 905 up to 1,200. Now you can see that the person that hit 905, they've been banned also. So just keep that in mind, that you're going to have some sellers that or some possible buyers that get banned. That's just the way it works. Some people just crooks, and Flippa really takes this seriously, and they will ban these people very quickly. And they may be your top bidder too. That's the thing that's happened to me before. It's your top bidder, and they automatically or they get banned, and then they can't contact you or anything. They're just banned. All you can see is your top bidder now gets banned. So you either have to close out the auction or hope for the person down below them to actually buy the site. Okay, my trick number 3 is using a video walkthrough, either using a video sales page or a webinar. I like webinars because I can track all the analytics. But webinars or videos can work also. And all you're doing is you're walking your potential buyers through the website on video. So you're showing them how the website is built. You're showing them the layout. You're showing them the dashboard if it's a WordPress site. You're showing them all the members if you have members. You're showing them all the revenue if you have revenue. You're showing them all the screenshots. It's all on video. Screenshots can be faked. It's really difficult unless you have some fairly sophisticated equipment to fake a video. So as your potential buyers are seeing your overview, whether it's a webinar or video, they're seeing that, yeah, this site is real, this person is real. I get to see how the site is laid out. You're going to show features and functionality. If it's a WordPress site, show all the plugins you're going to include in the dashboard and kind of show them how the site is actually laid out. Don't worry about people getting the links, because they won't have any links in there off the videos. Now, they may see the links. You don't have to blur them out, but if you're using a membership site, those pages are protected, so I wouldn't worry about that. Now, the Flippa auction templates, I'm going to give you some Flippa auction templates you can use. Use these only as a guide to create your own listings. Do not copy and use right out of the box. So Flippa determines that the guides that you're using are my guides, or my sales page guides, and they're being duplicated. Or if someone happens to complain, and I've got a lot of people that buy my sites and they're really familiar with my sales templates, and they go, oh yeah, that's Easy Snow's templates, and they complain to Flippa, you may get banned. So just keep that in mind. That the sales guides that I'm showing, the auction templates, are only guides. Copy and paste and do it and change them around so you make them uniquely your sales page templates. These three templates that I'm showing you cover approximately 99% of the auctions that I list on Flippa. Now, we talked about the comments earlier. Trick number 5, only make a comment to pull watchers and bidders back to your Flippa listing, because every time you make a comment, Flippa sends out an email. Okay, this is the Hypertube Profits listing. I'm going to show you the comments. There were a lot of comments on this because a lot of people are interested in it. So the first comment that I dropped in was, thanks for participating. I am happy to answer your questions here or via private messaging. Okay, so I waited a little while. It wasn't. It was about a minute, and I said, as also should mention, expenses claimed are almost all affiliate payouts. And I said this is automated through the JVZoo system. Most people can get access to JVZoo or Warrior Plus if that's how you deliver your products. And then you start getting comments. Now, as these comments come, Flippa sends out a message to everyone that's watching. In this particular auction, I had over 1,000 views, 38 watchers, and 13 bidders. So a lot of people were actively involved in this. So the more comments you have, and don't burn your comments on the first day. Just hold off. Maybe mention a couple on the first day. One of the strategies I use is just go quiet during the first day of listing. So I may mention one comment, and then I just simply go quiet and don't mention anything. I may get bids. I don't respond to those bids. This is a strategy. I don't use it all the time. It just kind of comes up every once in a while. I get a feeling and I'll use a strategy. It works like gangbusters. You just go quiet, you just go dark, and that just drives bidders nuts, and they'll just keep bidding. Even though they bid once, they'll bid again, and they'll actually outbid themselves. It's really crazy how the mentality works because you're not responding to them. And then on the second day, I'll start responding and accepting bids. That is a strategy. Okay, so we make our initial comment, our one comment first. So that kind of sets the stage for the comments. And you can just add your bonuses in there. Your bonus would be, let's say, free hosting for 3 months or 6 months or a year, whatever it is, and maybe 3 or 4 PLR products if you're going to do that. And that's going to be simply your bonus for participating or bidding on the auction. Not the buy it now. Your buy it now I talked about earlier in this as your super bonus. And I add in my super bonus on the second day of listing. Remember, these are 3-day listings. These are not 1 day or 2 days. These are 3 days. They're not 5 or 7 days either. I'd make an exception to listing sites like over the holidays, for example. If we're coming up to a holiday and I'm going to list out a site, if that holiday happens to fall somewhere near that 3rd day of closing, then I'll extend the auction out and I'll make it 7 days or 5 days to get past the holiday. So you don't want to be closing out auctions close to a holiday. You're just not going to get a whole lot of traction. And people forget, they go on vacation, they travel, they forget that they bought a site, and it gets to be a hassle. Trust me from experience. I had a guy buy in South America one time. He was on holiday and he bought a network of sites and spent a lot of money with me, and then totally forgot about it, and he just never responded to emails. Well, he was in Peru and he just didn't have internet, and when he finally got back into a place where he had internet, he contacts me and out of the blue, and I didn't remember the guy. It had been months later, 6 months, it could have even been a year later, and he goes, hey, I bought all these sites and I'd like to get them transferred. Well, I'd moved on. I totally forgot about it. So it was a big deal. It was a big hassle to try to get those sites back up, and some of the domains had expired. It was just a big deal. You don't want to go through that since I already made the mistake, right? Learn from other people's mistakes. Trick number 6 I use is do your research. Follow sellers that have success. I showed you that guy that was selling networks of sites, 20 sites, 21. Just go ahead and bookmark him and then follow along. Look at his sales pages, see what he's doing. He's using a template for all of his sites. Trust me, people that are doing high volume sales on Flippa are not listing sales pages one at a time. They're not writing a complete sales page every single time. They use a template. Watch what they're doing, follow along, and then copy or mimic their methods. And you should, if you're in the same quality of websites, and I'm expecting with all this training that your quality of your websites are going to be as good or better than anyone else's out there. So if you copy their methods and have high quality websites, then you should be seeing the same results. I mean, that's the whole idea with following somebody and actually mimicking what they do. And add lots of graphics. Screenshots make the day. You can see right here on this one. Here's lots of attachments. 73.50 affiliate commission, 220 affiliate commissions today, 39.15 gross total. Here's the membership area. Here's the income, JVZoo sellers, sales, top sellers. And I just added a whole bunch of screenshots. Now, you won't have all the screenshots if you have a site that has no revenue, but you can make a screenshot of the dashboard. You can make a screenshot of the front, the front of the page, your landing page, your membership area. You can just take a screenshot and then blur out the actual URL up in the address bar. So you can show sites. You can show products, like a lot of PLR products have screenshots of a box and the templates and banners and all that. You can put those in there. Trust me, the more graphics you use, the better off you're going to be, because as I said in this mind map, a picture is worth 1,000 words. And new buyers, they love those screenshots, because what happens is they put themselves in the scenario of owning that website. Well, what can I do with it, and how much money could I make, and where can I advertise? And it's like buying a new car. If this is a psychology that has been broken down to the nth degree. When you go into a car dealership, it's a science. First you walk in, well, actually you probably don't even make the front door. They grab you out in the parking lot somewhere and they show you the car. They make you sit in it. You get to smell all those new smells of a new car. You get to drive it. And if you're driving it, guess what? You don't have to fantasize about driving it, because you're actually driving the car. That is the best sales method that they can use. Put you in the car, put you behind the wheel, and then a good portion of the time you're going to end up buying that car. Now, we mentioned trick number 8, go quiet for 24 hours after initial listing. Do not use this all the time. Use this sparingly. All right, here's an anatomy of a non-paying buyer. So I sold this site. We'll go out here to the Flippa auction. Sold the site. Here's the site. Wasn't very much, $75. Had 13 bids. And we went to the sale completion area, and I always send this congratulatory message. Hey, congratulations on the winning bid for, and then I put in the the website. You can send the $75 payment to my PayPal email, and I put the PayPal in there. Once payment clears PayPal, I'll transfer the domain and site files to you. Now, I had this guy's information. All of his information was in the success area over here. And what happened was he never responded, just nothing. So after a period of time, I basically sent this to him. Because of non-payment, I've lodged a dispute with Flippa. Keep in mind your account may be adversely affected by this dispute. If I receive the payment, then I'll cancel the dispute and your rating will not be affected. Well, obviously, this was the site and all of the income. The site had made money and got traffic, and it went for dirt cheap. It was 75 bucks, and he just basically blew me off. And you see what happened here. He got suspended. He never paid for it. I turned around and sold it to somebody else. Probably for more. I don't know what happened. But I warned him. I showed you that. I warned him in the sale completion area. This is what's going to happen, or this is what could be a happen. Your account may be adversely affected. It was, because Flippin doesn't put up with this stuff, man. They will suspend you in a heartbeat. And so they lose their hard-earned 100% rating and they get suspended. Well, why would you even do that? I don't get that. Unless he just totally decided that this is not for me, website buying, I'm not going to buy this, or just disappeared, or there's a death in the family or something. I don't know. All right, so that's it for Flip It Like a Boss week number 2. Upcoming, we're going to talk about WordPress. I've left that to the end because it's a little bit more complicated, it's a little bit more sophisticated, so I want to leave that to the end. And you're going to get some great bonuses with the WordPress stuff. Speaking of bonuses, I don't know why I said week 1. Should be week 2. All right, week 2 bonuses. Click on the link. That'll take you out here. You'll get all of your bonuses just like you did in week 1. Remember to download your bonuses. And then make sure that you use Turbo Instant Membership Builder and start building out some websites and getting them up and operational so you can start building out your listings. That's the whole idea with this, is flipping websites. So we want to have some websites to flip. Get your reseller account if you don't have one, and start building it. Get some domains, get some cheap domains. Go to Namecheap, get some cheap domains for 88 cents so you're not out a whole lot of money, and start building out some of these PLR products that you have with Turbo Instant Membership Builder so you become familiar with how the sites are put together and how they work and how fast. That's the whole idea, is get this down to you can turn out a site very quickly. If you can make a HTML site in 30 minutes to an hour and then put it on Flip and sell it in 3 days for, let's say, $97 to $197, that's a really good ROI. So again, I thank you for taking time out of your day to stop by Flip It Like a Boss week number 2, and I'll see you next week, week number 3.